إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد, then to continue with Al-Aqedah Tahawiyyah, the creed compiled by Imam Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi rahimahullah. Then we reached point number 204. We had some sections on the excellence of the companions, and then with regard to the Salaf and the scholars of this Ummah, and then al-Tahawi rahimahullah, he says, ولا نفضل أحدا من الأولياء على أحد من الأنبياء عليهم السلام ونقول نبي واحد أفضل من جميع الأولياء. And we do not declare any of the awliya, the beloved and obedient servants of Allah, to be superior to any of the prophets alayhimus salam. And we say a single prophet is superior to all of the awliya. Just to repeat that, and we do not declare any of the awliya, the beloved and obedient servants of Allah. We do not declare a single one of the awliya to be superior to any of the prophets alayhimus salam. And we say a single prophet is superior to all of the awliya. Shaykh Fawzan, hafidhahullah, he said, the author, rahimahullah, moved on from the ulama, from the scholars, to the awliya. And the term al-awliya is the plural of wali. Awliya is the plural of wali. And this matter, al-wilaya, it means al-qurb wal-mahabba. It means closeness and love. So they, the awliya, are the people drawn close to and loved by Allah, the Mighty and Majestic. They, the awliya, who are they? They are the people drawn close to Allah and loved by Allah. And they are called the awliya because of their being drawn close to Allah and because of Allah's loving them. This is what the term al-wilaya and the term al-wali, this is what it means. Closeness and love. And he mentions a couple of ayahs with regard to Allah's love, and he said, He the Most High said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ التَّوَّابِينَ وَيُحِبُّ الْمُتَطَهِّرِينَ. The ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, the second surah, ayah 222, with the explanation. Allah loves those people who turn in repentance to Him. And He loves those who purify themselves. Then He mentions the second ayah with regard to Allah's loving certain people. He said, and He the Most High said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Surah Al-Baqarah, the same surah, ayah 195, with the explanation. Allah loves those who perfect their acts of obedience. Those who are people of ihsan. Those who perfect, those whose actions are good, those who perfect their acts of obedience to Him. Then Shaykh Fawzan goes on with regard to the matter of defining who is a wali of Allah, who is a beloved servant of Allah, a wali from the awliya. He said, and Allah has explained who they are in his saying, ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون الذين آمنوا وكانوا يتقون. So Yunus, the 10th surah, ayah 62, with the explanation. The awliyaa of Allah, the obedient and beloved servants of Allah, the awliyaa of Allah, there will be no fear upon them, nor will they grieve. They are those who have Iman and they were dutiful to Allah. They had taqwa. They were dutiful to Allah. The Shaykh said, so the wali must have two characteristics combined in him. In other words, taken from this ayah. This ayah mentions the awliya and that they have these two characteristics. Shaykh Fawzan said, so the wali must have two characteristics combined in him. The first is al-iman, correct faith. And the second, at-taqwa, dutifulness to Allah. Iman and taqwa. Then he mentioned, and the people with regard to al-wilayah, being loved or being hated, are of three categories. All of the creation will fall with regard to this matter of whether they are from the awliya, the beloved ones of Allah, or whether they are ones hated by Allah. The people will fall into one of three categories. The first category is those who are purely awliya of Allah. Those people who are purely beloved ones of Allah. From the angels and the prophets and the siddiqoon, the true and sincere followers of the prophets, and the shuhada, the martyrs, and the righteous believers. It's the first category. Those who are purely beloved ones of Allah. And he said the second category are those who are the enemies of Allah. Those who are total enemies. Such as the mushrik, and the kafir, the unbeliever, and the munafiq, the hypocrite, who is upon major hypocrisy, a hypocrisy that takes a person out of Islam. So they are enemies to Allah and to His Messenger. And Shaykh Fawzan quotes three ayahs. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم أولياء تلقون إليهم بالمودة وقد كفروا بما جاءكم من الحق. Surah Al-Mumtahana, the 60th surah, the first ayah, with the explanation. O you who believe, do not take my enemy and your enemy as awliya, as friends and allies, showing them love when they have disbelieved in the truth which has come to you. And he mentioned the second ayah where he quotes, he said, and He the Most High said, لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم أو أبناءهم أو إخوانهم أو عشيرتهم. Surah Al-Mujadila, the 58th surah, ayah 22, with the explanation. You will not find a people who truly believe in Allah and in the last day, having love and affection for those who oppose Allah and His Messenger, even if they are their fathers, or their sons, or their brothers, or their tribe. And he quoted the third ayah in this regard. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض ومن يتولهم منكم فإنه منهم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. Surah Al-Ma'idah, the 5th Surah, Ayah 51. With the explanation, O you who believe, do not take the Jews and Christians as friends and allies. They are friends and allies to each other. And whoever from you takes them as friends and allies against the believers, then he is from them. Indeed, Allah does not guide the wrongdoers. That's how Al-Tabari explained the ayah. And whoever takes the Jews and Christians as friends and allies against the believers. Whoever takes his friends and allies, those Jews and Christians waging war against Islam, whoever takes them as his friends and allies against the believers, then he is from them. So it's the second category, those who are pure enemies towards Allah and His Messenger. Then he mentions the third category. He said, those who have wilayah, love and alliance from one aspect, and enmity, adawa, from another aspect. And from one aspect, they have wilayah, love and alliance. And from another aspect, they have adawa, enmity. And he explains who that is. He said, and it is the sinful Muslim, al-Muslim al-Asi, the sinful Muslim. So he has wilayah, love and alliance. There is for him love and alliance in accordance with his degree of obedience. And there is for him enmity in accordance with the level of the sins that he has. It will vary. So the more obedience to Allah that he has, the more wilayah there will be for him, more love and alliance there will be for him. And on the other hand, the more sin that he has, then the greater will be the aspect of enmity towards him. Then Shaykh Fawzan said, so every Muslim is a wali of Allah. Every Muslim is waliullah, a beloved servant of Allah. However, in accordance with his level of iman. And this will vary. How much of a wali, his degree of being wali, a beloved servant of Allah, will vary in accordance with his level of iman. Then Shaykh Fawzan moved on and says, and whoever claims to be a wali, a beloved servant of Allah, or has wilayah claimed for him by somebody else, and he does not have iman, and he does not have taqwa, dutifulness towards Allah, avoiding committing sins against Allah, he doesn't have that, then he is a dajjal, he is a kadhab. He is a great trickster, great dajjal, and he is a great kadhab, he is a great liar. If he claims to be a wali of Allah, beloved servant of Allah, or he has somebody else claim it for him, and he doesn't have these two things, he doesn't have iman, and he doesn't have taqwa, then he's a great dajjal, he's a dajjal, and a great liar. Shaykh Fawzan then said, and some people claim to have wilayah, Allah. They claim to have this condition of being a wali, being a beloved servant of Allah, when they are actually sorcerers, people of sihr, sorcery, and they are fortune tellers, and they are magicians who do tricks, and they are astrologers. And Shaykh al-Islam, meaning Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he wrote a book which he called Al-Furqan Bayna Awliyaa al-Rahman wa Awliyaa al-Shaytan. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah wrote a book in this regard, how to distinguish between these two categories, those who are truly beloved servants of Allah, truly awliya of Allah, and those who are false claimants to it. And he called the book Al-Furqan, the criterion between the beloved servants of the most merciful and the allies of Satan. And he made clear in it those who falsely claim wilayah, falsely claim that they are awliya. Those who promote amongst the people things which they think to be miracles, which are granted to a wali. Which they promote, which they think are karamat, miracles given to a wali, when they are in reality phenomena brought about by devils. And an explanation of that will follow in the next point, point number 205. So he makes the point that there are some people, they claim that they can do these certain miracles, and these are miracles granted to Allah's beloved servants. These are karamat, when in reality they are just tricks produced by devils, shayateen. And he said, so it is obligatory to love the awliya of Allah. It is obligatory to have love for the beloved servants of Allah and to take them as an example to follow and to ally yourself to them and to be close to them. The true awliya of Allah, the true beloved servants of Allah. He said, and he's saying, وَلَا نُفَضِّلُ أَحَدًا مِنَ الْأَوْلِيَاءِ عَلَى أَحَدٍ مِنَ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّلَامِ, saying of the author Tahawiyyah, rahimahullah, and we do not prefer anyone from the awliya over a single one from the prophets, alayhimus salam. Shaykh Fawzan said, this is a refutation of the Sufis. So they go beyond the due limits with regard to the awliya. The Sufis go beyond the bounds, go beyond the due limits with regard to the awliya. And in their opinion, they are better than the prophets. That's the opinion of the Sufis, that the awliya are better even than the prophets. Whereas the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah do not go beyond the limits with regard to the awliya. Rather, they give them their due status. And as for the misguided Sufis, then they declare them to be more excellent than the prophets, to the extent that one of them says, and he gives a quote from one of these deviant Sufis, he said, مقام النبوة في منزل فويق الرسول ودون الولي. But one of them said, the position of prophethood is in a level slightly above messengership, but below the wali. This is what one of these Sufis said. They claim that the lowest level is risala, the messengership. Then slightly above messengership is prophethood, nubuwah. Even that is of course the wrong way around. Just slightly above prophethood is messengership. And then above that is wilayah, the position of the awliya, as they claim. Shaykh Fawzan said, وَهَذَا كُفْرٌ, and this is unbelief, because the most excellent are the rusul, the messengers, and then the anbiya, then the prophets, and then the awliya. And the reason why the Sufis give precedence to the wali over the prophet is that they claim that the wali takes directly from Allah, whereas a prophet takes through an intermediary. This is the evil claim of the Sufis. They say the prophets, they take from Allah through an intermediary. There's someone in between, meaning Jibreel alayhi salam. They don't take directly from Allah, they take from Jibreel, who took from Allah. Whereas they claim that they're the Awliyaa, they say the Wali, he takes directly from Allah. So therefore the Wali, in their evil claim, they say is better than a prophet. Shaykh Fawzan said, so he's saying, وَنَقُولُ نَبِيٌّ وَاحِدْ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ جَمِيعِ الْأَوْلِيَاءِ. And he's saying, and we say, a single prophet is more excellent than all of the awliya. All of the awliya put together. Shaykh Fawzan said, this is something which there is no doubt about. So all of the awliya, all of the beloved servants of Allah, from the beginning of the creation to their end, will not equal a single prophet, a single Nabi. And this is the Aqedah, the creed and belief of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. That's where Shaykh Fawzan ends this point, Hafidhullah. Then just something that Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah, he brings in his notes. As he said, concerning this point, he said in the explanation, meaning Ibn Abdul Izz said, the Shaykh, meaning the author at Tahawiyyah, rahimahullah, he is indicating a refutation of the Ittihadiyyah, those who say that the Creator and the creation are one and the same. With this point, he is refuting them. And the ignorant Sufis. And however, the people who are upon the correct way, they counsel following the knowledge and following the legislation. I mean, what's been refuted here is the saying of the Sufis, those who put the Awliyaa above the level of prophethood. And as for the people of truth, then in this regard, they counsel following the knowledge and following the Islamic legislation. Because Allah has made it obligatory upon all of the creation that they should follow the messenger. He, the Most High, said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ رَسُولٍ إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ Surah An-Nisa, the 4th surah, ayah 64, with the explanation. And we did not send any messenger except that he should be obeyed by the permission of Allah. Then Shaykh al-Albani continued, he said, and many of those people, I mean those people of Ittihad, people who say the creation and creation are one and the same, and the extreme ignorant Sufis, he said many of them think that he himself has reached, through his leadership and through his striving upon worship and through his purifying himself, he thinks that he has reached a level that the prophets reached without following their way. It's what many of these extreme Sufis think. They think the person strives himself upon various acts of worship or purification, that he can reach the level that the prophets were upon, but not even following their way. He said, and some of them think that he has become better than the prophets. And some of them say that they take knowledge directly from Allah, from the lamp of the seal of the Awliyaa. And they claim for themselves that they are, of course he's talking about some of the heads of the Sufis of the past, and they claim for themselves that they are Khatimul Anbiya, the seal of the Awliyaa, the seal of the beloved servants of Allah. This is what they call themselves. And then this knowledge which they claim to be taken directly from Allah, is actually the saying of Fir'aun, which is that the visible universe is something self-existing, and that it does not have a creator who is apart from it. So the only difference between their saying, this is saying of the extreme Sufis like Ibn Arabi. This is what they say. That the creation and the creator are the one and the same thing. There's no creator outside this universe. So Shaykh al-Albani said, rahimahullah, the only difference between these two sayings, between the saying of this person and between the saying of the Pharaoh, Fir'aun, is that this one, meaning the extreme Sufi, he says it is Allah. This creation that you see is Allah. Whereas Fir'aun outwardly denied this totally. However, inwardly, Fir'aun knew better about Allah than them, because he affirmed a creator. Fir'aun, in his inward heart, in his heart of hearts, he knew that there was a creator. Whereas they think that this created universe is itself the existing creator, such as Ibn Arabi and his like. And then when he saw that there is no way to alter the clear legislation, he therefore said, prophethood has been sealed. However, Wilayah has not been sealed. And he claimed, with regard to Wilayah, that which is greater than prophethood, and that which is greater than what the prophets and messengers had. And he claimed that the prophets took benefit from this, from the Wilayah. And Shaykh al-Albani mentioned the same thing that Shaykh al-Fawzan quoted, that he said the position of prophethood in the Barzakh is slightly above the messenger, but it is less than being a wali. The highest level of all is being a wali. That's above prophethood, above messengership, above everything. Shaykh al-Albani said, Shaykh al-Albani finished, rahimahullah, by saying, so this is turning the Islamic legislation upside down. Because Wilayah is something confirmed for the people of Iman and the people who have taqwa. Just as He the Most High said, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Surah Yunus, the same surah we had before, ayah 62 to 63. Meaning, Wilayah is not some special thing which a person can get hold, can obtain by abandoning the Islamic legislation. Rather, it's something that people, as the Shaykh said, with the condition that the person has these two characteristics, and he will be a wali of Allah. He has Iman and he is dutiful to Allah. Then Shaykh al-Albani finished by saying, and prophethood is more special and particular than Wilayah. And messengership is more special and particular than prophethood, as has preceded.